Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sussex Saturday. I am VS Speaks Royally. I hope you all are well. I hope you all can hear me. I saw the notification that you could hear the intro. So hopefully it wasn't too loud on your ears. But hi, hope everybody is well. Um, I have a lot. Some of you channel members are cutting up already. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Church Nelly, thank you for 37 months of membership. Black Queen, also thank you for 30 months of membership. I'm going to give you special thanks when we get around to, for the love that you dropped on me. But I wanted to just highlight as we're preparing to get into our conversation on Harry's statement on the security case, as well as Meghan's first podcast. Um, Rosanna had dropped Ephesians 6, verses 10 through 13. And so if you are of the Christian faith or you have access to a Bible, you can read those verses. And I'll probably leave this comment for at the end of the live stream. That way, everybody can reference something because I'm sure we're going to cut up big time royally. And so, hopefully, I didn't miss anybody pre live stream kickoff. So, I like to just greet everybody. Y'all know how I do. So, let me just make sure I did turn it off, the volume on the YouTube side. Okay. All right. Comments. Let me see. I guess you're hearing me. Y'all are just chatting away. So, all right. If I didn't, I would have seen Mike's like, can't hear you. All right. Let me get into. Oh, let me change my banner for one thing. There we go. All right. Banner change, Sussex Saturday instead of Sussex Talk. And then I'm going to do this, and then we'll get into our conversation.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Okay. So, as I do each and every Sussex Saturday, I like to read my favorite quote that I found on the archewell.org site. Each of us can change our communities. All of us can change the world. So, as the title of the live stream, Meghan's first podcast interview, Harry's security case. I want to just jump into Harry's security case. That's the heavier of the topics. So I see this as a picture. He's just going to wave. It's just my personal opinion, wave bye to the UK. I also understand why he would want to continue to go back there, not because of his family on his pa's side. I mean, the Spencers have been very protective, loving, and caring towards him. He has children who need to know that if not both sides, at least one side, and that the country that their father originated from. So it's a catch-22. He's caught in the middle, unfortunately. But I do want to read, if you haven't, Sussex.com, his statement is out there. I'm sure for the Sussex squad, those are the long-term and long-time squaddies. You've been on several different of the content creators in this Sussex Positive Hallway that have addressed it. And I just wanted to read it. It may be very difficult to read on that side, so I do apologize. You can always go out again to Sussex.com, pull it up, and then read along with me. So Harry's statement says, I want to start by thanking my legal team and the Court of Appeal judges for their time and expertise in unveiling this issue that stemmed from the previous government. This process has only ever been about ensuring my safety and that of my immediate family when we are in the United Kingdom. so that we may safely visit my home country with the same level of security that other governments deem necessary for our protection. My ask has been simple, that the standard protocols for security and risk assessments be applied to me in the same way that they are to others, including people who have never carried out any public functions on behalf of the state. The court's ruling confirms that the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, known as RAV, and comprised of senior officials from the royal household, Home Office, and Metropolitan Police, has failed to follow its own mandated processes for me, which are applied to all other high risk and high profile individuals. Given my profound concerns over this issue, I will be writing to the Home Secretary, to the Home Secretary, to ask her to urgently examine the matter and review the RAV process. Get them, Harry. Okay. This legal action has been a last resort, but one that has uncovered shocking truths, starting with the fact that the royal household are key decision makers on RAV and my sole representation for matters regarding my security. In this process, I've also learned the names of all those involved, many of whom retired immediately after playing their part. Do I need to read that part again? In this process, I've also learned the names of all those involved, many of whom retired immediately after playing their part. In November 2017, before the royal household's role on RAV was known, the secretive committee concluded that when my wife would join the royal family, she should not receive protection. Only when I asked for the name of the person willing to carry that risk did they reverse the decision. In 2020, RAB refused for the first time to conduct their required annual risk, threat, and impact assessment that their own policies demand. The intention of this assessment is to be objective and free from bias and interference to confirm the security required. The result was stripping me of the protection I've had since birth, while signaling to all other governments to do the same. This reckless action knowingly put me and my family in harm's way. Life is precious, and I understand the fragility of it. Throughout 2020 and 2021, I attempted to resolve this issue privately, even offering to independently cover the cost of necessary and effective police protection in order to keep me and my family safe. No one responded directly to me about my offer when I made it, and even though I challenged the refusal to let me pay, my legal claim failed. To this present day, the royal household remain my sole representation on RAV for every visit and could call for this assessment to be done at any point. The only possible conclusion that can be drawn is that they choose not to because they know the outcome would prove that my security should never have been removed in the first place. In recent years, my family and I have been subjected to well documented neo Nazi and extremist threats, including from Al Qaeda. There are individuals in prison on UK soil because of such threats. And yet, since 2019, a proper risk assessment has not been conducted. This is not only a deviation from standard practice, it's a dereliction of duty. The stark difference is I was born into lifelong circumstances that create inherent security risks. My decade of military service, particularly 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan, as well as social and tabloid media frenzy, have only intensified those threats. Uncovering how My immediate family safety was knowingly put at risk, as well as who was behind it and who sanctioned it, has been truly devastating. No matter where we may agree or disagree, I would never wish harm on anyone. These legal proceedings have revealed to me that this basic duty of care was not and is not applied to me. It's true that I have been treated as an exception on this issue. The conditions of my security were not made based on threat, risk, and impact. They were made based on my role, one that my wife and I want to maintain, but that was ultimately refused. RAB's ability to make decisions outside of its own policies and the so called political sensitivities of my case have prevailed over the need for fair and consistent decision making. The court has decided to defer to this, revealing a sad truth. My hands are tied in seeking legal recourse against the establishment. This all comes from the same institutions that preyed upon my mother, that openly campaigned for the removal of her security, and that continued to incite hatred towards me, my wife, and even our children, while at the same time protecting the very power that they should be holding accountable. The UK is my birthplace and will always be part of who I am. It is a place I love and the country where my son was born. I've only ever wanted to continue my charitable work in supporting the causes and people that mean so much to me, and for my children to know the beauty of my homeland. I remain committed to a life of public service. This has been and will always be my life's work. And when you strip away the noise, you'll be able to hear all I've been asking for is safety. And that is signed by Harry. And he did do an exclusive interview with the BBC to discuss the judicial review ruling. And yeah, that statement there. Whew. Um, Let me just say, I'm not going to apologize for what I say. I say, okay. So in his statement, he mentioned in November 2017. Do all of us remember what happened in November 2017? They were engaged to be married. It was announced. Their engagement was announced, I should say. So for all the crazies and the haters and the trolls out there that are always trying to tear down and say, you know, um, Megan this, Megan that, Harry this, Harry that. This was 3 years prior to the Oprah interview. So I need all of you haters, trolls, and all to go suck your own behind holes. Okay. He was much more, eloquent than I care to ever be to people who still stand on the um shit hill and state that he shouldn't have security. He's not anybody special. Well, then your royals aren't special either, but they got security. Even those that aren't working royals, never have been working royals, or the nonce that was a working royal. And because of the woman, and rest in peace to Virginia G, y'all know who I'm referring to, who passed away last week. So, yeah. Anyway, I just had to let that boil out right there. I'm going to get on to the other topic, roll through so I can get into the comments with you all in pre trash time. Oh, loveliness. So, yeah, it's all out there. Read between the lines for some that just don't understand. Well, I don't get it. Read between the lines. He laid it out perfectly for you. And oh, he knows. So the more we see um, the heir to be age, yeah, hmm all that karma coming back to y'all. That's all I woosah moment. Ooh, there's over 100 comments just on this part alone. Okay, maybe I'll jump in quickly just to see what y'all are saying. Hi, Teresa, how are you? And the first comment I come over and see is this Annie B. They have always wanted Harry dead. Yep. Yep. So, R. Smith Lorna, unfortunately, they cherry picked portions of the interview to target him as entitled. Yeah. His statement, and I'm so glad he made a statement. It's long. He poured his heart out, and you can feel that. Very direct. Did he call names? No. Did he need to? No, because you should be able to know exactly whom he was referring to. Okay. Let me see. Antoinette says VS. Yes, and they talked about it on the Harry and Meghan Netflix series, which is why the Oprah interview happened. Now they are growing their business to survive. The royal family will never be trusted. Exactly. Not them two at the helm of it. Even before the Queen, I was explaining to my husband before I went live that what was happening with Harry, blah blah blah, and even said even before the Queen passed, 3 months after this alleged agreement that was made between them and the royal family. It was broken. The royal family broke that. I don't even believe the queen was truly running things the last few years, but um, as we are always told, the courtiers are the one that run the shit. So okay, there you go. But you have um, where we're seeing, and you'll see a couple of comments in Trash Time where it's always been a narrative that, um, you know, Meghan and Harry have broken the agreement. No, the royal family broke the agreement within 3 months of making it. So, middle fingers up to them and any little narrative that they want to twist around to say that, oh, the agreement was broken. They're always trashing the royal family. Nothing was said until the Oprah interview. We didn't know half the stuff. And even then, we didn't know it all. Because there was some things Harry wasn't going to disclose, and he said it then. But there's going to come a time and place, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. Keep fucking with them if you want to. You're going to find out. All right. Miss September, these people are mean. If you look at their history, they don't care who they eliminate. Sad. Exactly. Oh, let me tell you, we all know. Let me highlight this comment because then I'll know where to come back down to. Um, hey, Sis Hilda, how are you? They truly, and I even said that to my husband, they had us all believing way back when Charles and Diana were divorcing that, oh, she decided she didn't want security. Well, there was only one side to the story because that was pre social media. So we can only take the side that was out there speaking. And Diana, of course, was silenced and really couldn't say anything. But now we know that was all the plan. And they always put it on Philip as being the one that made the call. No, 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 no. Let's get it straight. Paul, the one that as soon as they're called out for questioning the pigment of an unborn child, suddenly, oh, they've got cancer, both of them. Mhm. When you brought that energy to your front door and it takes you and some others, don't cry for sympathy because you played too much these last 2 years using that card and then sitting on your asses doing nothing because y'all ain't working royal, so why should you have security? Oh, okay. Let me scroll up a little bit. Hey, Nora, the Stock Explorer, Joan. Let me see. I just want to see. Hey, Tiara, I just saw your name as I was scrolling through. Please don't be offended. Y'all know how I do. As I'm scrolling, I'm yelling names. Hey, Divine, how are you? All right, I see one. Karen is saying I scrolled up to the top, but now I'm working my way. Karen, says, I can confirm and agree that Tina and Michelle were right. These people wanted to kill them, yes. Many did not want to accept. It was hard to digest that. That was a huge size pill to swallow at the time. It has been chipped away. Many of us have eventually swallowed the pill of realization that, yeah, reality is that it's exactly what they wanted. They never even intended for her to ever have any children, so that his lineage was cut off. And then they can control it, and then that family could make all the money that they wanted to through the tears of the country or world. Because when Diana passed, that's exactly what they did. Only when it became very evident that the Queen was about ready to have the monarchy abolished in her handling did they come out and did she make a statement. Of course, written by the prime minister, because they're not political, but they read the words of the prime minister of the country. And he made her look good. Maybe somewhere in all these years, her relationship with Harry changed somewhat, but you have to wonder. And maybe she was caught off guard too by it all. Who knows? Don't really care at this point, but the two at the helm, the one trying to get the one that's currently in the on the golden throne out the way. Yeah. Anyway, y'all get it. So Wendy is saying they may think they won control of Harry and Meghan. These people are too arrogant to know they only damage the institution on global stage. Exactly. His statement. Nobody needs to question anything, but we can see um Invictus Games 2027. There's gonna have to be some decisions. I understand that the entire board was based in the UK, and so how Birmingham won it, many people question. And it might be a time, Harry. This is the first time that Harry does it virtually. Who knows? I know most of us are like, he'll be there. He'll be. We don't know. We won't know until we see. It's a lot different. This is a lot different because he would never put his wife knowingly in harm's way. And going into the UK is knowingly putting her in harm's way. The children, too. Now, they probably can come in and visit, like I said, the Spencers, and not be known because he has a right to show his children when they're of an age to truly understand this is where your grandmother is buried. Okay. Hey Teresa, if I didn't, AKA HR, AKA damn my opinion. Okay. So you all know who I'm talking about. Annie, I think Harry now knows that Charles had Diana murdered. This is closure, in my opinion. Yeah, it could very well be. It does feel that way. Um, the fact that there's, basically he put it out there that committee, y'all didn't do what you should have done. The court has ruled. I'm glad he explained all that because it was just so many, even from those that you would trust to get the information from. It was always getting lost in the security, like him paying and wanting taxpayer. It was so far beyond that. And I'm glad he explained it in his own words. Um, yeah. So when we see them two together holding hands, smiling, and they kiss each other and their love that they have, yeah, the crazies and the haters within the family made sure that their relationship is so solid. All right, let me see. Gwen is saying Harry has a paper trail. Now the people know. You. hmm hmm Faith is saying Annie B, no doubt about that. Yeah. Boney, how are you? I hope you're well. Harry, the Lord said, I am sending an angel ahead of you to guard you along the way and bring you to the place I have prepared. Exodus 23:20. Okay, Boney, you go ahead on. I'm gonna have to star that one because that might be your child. All right, y'all go and head on with them scriptures. Okay, that's right. Wendy L. I wished Harry didn't say he wants to reconnect with his vile family. It makes him look desperate to be with them. Harry did nothing wrong. They need to make an apology to the Sussexes, my opinion. Yeah. Um, he can say ouch and they'll say, "Oh, he's such a wuss. He's such a this." I have to kind of correlate it to he lost his mom as a kid. He knows the reason and those behind that. Um, sometimes keeping your enemies close is your better operative angle. Um, but to just it's just something he has to come to terms with. And I think he says I think it's just words. I truly in my heart don't believe after reading that statement because it is what it is. But R. Smith, poor Harry, the totality of his life experience is that of being preyed on both inside and outside of the palace. Okay. Mm. Mm. Karen. Oh, okay. My God, this is pure wickedness. I can't believe what I'm hearing, but it is true. Oh God, help your children. Yeah. It is very, very true. That statement, again, I'm glad he released his statement to explain all reasoning behind what he was doing, what was determined, which is that the RAV committee didn't do what they should have been doing and treated him differently. Mhm. Joyce V says Harry and Meghan being vocal keeps them safe. Being quiet about what's going on by the royal family media and Metro Police puts them at risk. Do talk, Harry. Tell it all, excuse me. Royal family media can't rewrite history. Oh, they'll try. But thanks to the day and age of social media, and knowing that what is put out there, someone will screenshot, someone will clip a voice audio, or someone will clip the video of what was put out. Yeah, it'll live on. It'll live on. Diana did not have that. Okay, Church Nelly says change the Invictus Games 2027 location, Harry. Yeah. Some what I don't want to see, and I being on the X app, I could see I'll just say you can see some wolves dropping their sheep mask, as in, oh, I'm a supporter, where some are being quite stern and they're demanding he do such and such and demanding he do. I I truly hope that just from a standpoint, okay, you want to still have it there. I hope the board of directors of the Invictus Games is basically the operations, I'll put it that way, is moved to the US. Bali is moved to the US because Prince Hazel can come and go. Yeah, I'm just saying, safely and quietly because they won't know who, what, and where. Wendy says Wendy L. No, not at all. Shows Harry has a heart. Yeah, too much of a heart for some of them over there, but yeah, he has a heart. But their doings is reflected in their outer appearance. That's all I can explain it. Some of you with the third eye activated already understand what I'm saying. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Let me see, and then I'm gonna get back into the rest of the content, and then I'll come back after pre-trash time. I might just roll right into trash time and then come back into the comments. Um, Joan says, everyone, don't forget that Harry is grown and can say whatever he wants to or thinks is best, no matter how we feel about him talking. Right. They wanted them silenced. If they had still been working royals, you know, we can only imagine how things would be if they were still here. Okay. I'm not sure why they think if Meghan was taken from him that he would just shrivel up and come back. Oh, he probably would be unleashed on y'all. Tier is saying Harry making a statement means Charles and the lying British media cannot change what happened. It will go down in history. Exactly. Because even like they said, for them to now go and do what they should be doing is saying that y'all didn't do it when you should have. So you treated me differently. But you talk about being very smart because many were like, why do this? Why? Because it's now in court records. Court records, public court records. Some things might be redacted if people wanted to see. Now, see, if it was over here in the U.S., honey, for now we still have a right per the Constitution to seek information and all that stuff, but till that changes. Janice G, that is a powerful statement. Yeah. Hey, Lady T, how are you? Let me see. You're saying, hey, working my OT, glad to have something worthwhile to listen. Oh, well, I hope it's worthwhile. I hope you enjoy it. I don't know if I read this. Oh, no. Okay. Wendy Joan G. Absolutely agree. He's putting those bastards on notice. Yes. Yes, 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 he is. He is. He is. Y'all have really, it was just so many comments. When I look back after reading the statement, I just had to change things just a little bit in order to, hey, Roslyn, how are you? Just to ensure that I touch base with y'all in a sense. So, Marshar says, Harry may be down, but he ain't out. Trust and believe it's not over. Like a soldier, he'll retreat to fight another day, and baby, nothing better happened to his family. That man will torch that mother down. I agree with you 1000%. And that basically, if we remember what happened in October of 2016 when Harry released a statement to tell them all to back off Meghan, that was his first warning shot over the bow. They didn't take heed to it. Then when they released their statement in 2020 when they were stepping back, they basically said we don't have nothing to do with, the rota, anything like that. We'll determine who will have access as far as press goes or media. This is probably the last shot over the bow to them. They can take heed or they may not take heed. I had to laugh because some squatters were like, print the other pages, Harry, print the rest of the, spare was a nice sized book. And we knew that there were much more that had not been put into it. Okay. All right. Tira's saying glad Harry stood up to them about making security at the time because they would have said Harry did not request security for her. Exactly. And the fact that he knows exactly who was behind it, sure. Woo, better be glad he isn't truly the Ginger Avenger. Okay. Boney, Oprah interview just touched the surface of what they experienced. Exactly. And people had nerve to say they were lying and tried to twist it all around and oh, you shouldn't do this when Philip, although it had been you know, recorded long before Philip went in the hospital, which, looking at how some things went down, yeah, y'all kind of helped him as well as the queen up out of here over there. Yeah, y'all did. That's my personal opinion. Because y'all want that crown. Y'all have nothing else to stand on but that crown. I am king. I am the consort. Anyway, let me read on. Lorna, for those who only have seen the CNN interview, please check out Prince Harry's BBC interview, which has far, as I know, was the complete interview. Yeah, CNN and all the others will chop up if they're not given full approval. Mhm. Some of these institutions we know. Yeah, Peach is saying that silence Princess Marguerite. Yes. Um, oh, let me just say, Oh, well, thank you, Cookies and Cream. Thank you for 37 months of membership. Thank you, Mrs. VS. I'm proud to be your manager. Oh, thank you. Um, Rhonda says Megan said her only regret was she believed they would protect her. Right. Again, his statement, although the Netflix series proved what was stated in the Oprah interview, because the whole lying and all those other narratives, Netflix and all the different accounts and etc. His statement is truly summing up everything else. To know at the time that the engagement was announced, November 2017, to come out your faces and say that you weren't going to provide security to her. Now, Paul, the current king, didn't even provide for her upkeep, which is if she's a working royal, the Prince of Wales is supposed to take care of his children and their families because if they're out there working and they're showing up at stuff. And now we know they did all those stories on Meghan and how much she was spending, and it was not a dime of taxpayer money. She was spending her own. Of course, they inflated the amounts to make, have people all riled up about her spending money, and she wasn't even spending your damn money. Okay, let me come over here. Antoinette, there we go. No weapons formed against the Sussexes shall prosper in the name of Jesus. Amen. All right, I'm going to keep moving on through the content and get into Meghan's first podcast interview, which was just as powerful. Um, I had told y'all after I ended um, Talk Tuesday that I was going to go back and listen to the podcast, which I listened to on YouTube um, through Jamie's channel. And I warned y'all because I did drop the link. Don't read comments. Just listen to the content. Now that podcast, it's very meaningful that right now Meghan chose to do her first, not just podcast, but it was an interview. It was a friend. It shows the trust that she had in her. Now, what I would love for her is to I always, have to take it steps further. The Obamas, so, Michelle Obama, First Lady, former First Lady, and her brother have a podcast. I would love to see her come through there. Okay. Anyway, um, who would think that a gift given to a friend would cause a fury and people all up in arms and talking about she's breaking a agreement made by the royal family. Squatty stood up and said the royal family broke the agreement 3 months after it was made. So that agreement has been null and void since. But Harry and Meghan have still upheld their side of what they agreed to. It shows who has character, morals. hmm Okay. So she does the interview. Those of us who have lost one or both of our parents or a loved one that's very close to us, her idea of every night to both Lily and Archie, she'll do an email and just kind of, even if it's just a video or if it's a little word or if it's a picture or just her expressing, oh, you did this today, you did that, and sends it to them in email. And I know as soon as she said it out of her mouth that she created emails accounts for them that she'll give to them when they're 18 so they can go in and see all that she collected over their 18 years, the first 18 years, that the crazies are going to be out there trying to find them fucking emails. My heart sank a little bit on that. I was like, oh, God. I know it's just conversation between friends, and that part kind of freaked me out a little bit, but she has a right to share. Do you know how special it would be to just see all that you had. Many of us grew up in the age when people took a lot of pictures, so you see yourself progress over the time. But to actually get it from your mom and say, "Here, you did this on this date," and da da da, and you'll see the date. Just to me, it was phenomenal. That took me out. I have a couple of voicemails of my mother. I have one of a cousin that passed tragically. Yeah, I would be devastated if something happened to when I listen to those voicemails. I'm very careful in not hitting whatever number it is to save it because I'm scared I'll hit the opposite and will accidentally delete those. So people are losing their minds over the littlest things that this woman says or does. And it is so, some people really need to be checked out. And the trolling, and because we know that there's a certain era that has all the time in the world because he ain't working. If he ain't boozing and other stuff, he's sitting or vacationing or holidaying, as they say, sitting online and likes to troll. And I pray that energy comes back to him a million times over when his chap is waiting for him to kick the fucking bucket. Okay? Mm. Anyway, hopefully most of you, sorry, I took a sip of tea. Hopefully most of you have seen the interview. Her and Jamie always have, and this is how Meghan hangs out with her friends. Yes, for TV, she'll have on makeup, but this is how they hang out. They even brought, Jamie even brought the rocking chairs into the room where she records her podcast. And then Megan's like, I hope I don't rock throughout this. And it was just the comfort of friendship. The trust that Meghan has in Jamie speaks volumes. So, see, they're not irrelevant. They do get requests. And she showed that, hey, I will extend myself. Meghan didn't know the questions that were going to be asked, and she answered them. I did see some comments from the crazies like, "Oh, she's an actress." So, do you say that about all these other actors and actresses that go and do interviews or even have their own podcasts and get emotional about something? Do y'all say that about them too? Just asking. The ones that truly put on an act are the ones, overseas in the UK behind them golden gates that have to be smiling at all times and putting on this perfect picture. Look at our perfect family, which it's not. Otherwise, the one that signed her name on that Frankenstein picture that got that Getty disclaimer put up on them wouldn't have to try to cut a picture and paste different parts together to make it look like, look at me and my husband and our kids. We're just so happy. If you're truly happy, you're happy. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Let me move on. Took another sip of my tea. So we know that this is an actual picture of Jamie with her rosacea showing it, and she used that in her ad. She's the founder of It Cosmetics, which has been sold, self-made billionaire. Okay. I don't know, that interview just truly another layer of just being peeled away a little bit. Those of us that support her, it was really good to see. She was just low key herself. They even spoke on the Gwen Paltrow little get back at the media to shut that shit down. And you see, we haven't heard any more of the craziness around that. Um, the fact that, and I don't even remember hearing anything about a narrative that Meghan and Jamie were fighting, but there's always a narrative around Meghan with a friend. Um, we saw it with Jessica. We saw it with Priyanka. We saw it with Serena. We saw it with The list goes on and on and on. And eventually you see them, for those that choose to now share, because I'm sure there are friendships behind the scenes that don't, why even put that out there? And I see Priyanka follows the same in protecting her child's face to keep people from being the rudest that they could possibly be. Okay, just saying. Anyway, what about this podcast? Hopefully you listened to it. Um, did you, as squatties, yes, you have a right not to like it too. Was it something in that I like that they were comfy? If Megan through her company sold the sweatshirts with the names, and then it has Lily and Archie on it, but then on the other side Harry and Meghan. Squatties, put a 3 in the chat if you would buy one of those. That would make them billionaires. I'm just saying, in my opinion, that would make them billionaires. But yeah, this is the part where, her showing emotion is considered, oh, she's just acting. Lurt. And then a lot of the comments I was seeing was like Jamie's voice. She has a softer voice, but they were like, it's like listening to a little kid. I'm like, who forced you to listen? This is the part that gets me, haters. And we've said this on Tuesday. Nobody is forcing you to listen to anything related to Megan, not even any of the Sussex Positive podcasts. But y'all just can't help yourselves because y'all got to sit down and listen and then make snarky comments. Some of you show you didn't really listen because you say comments and you're like, I'm like, what does that even mean? Anyway, put a 3. Yes. If you liked it. If you didn't, just state that. That's fine. Confessions of a Female Founder with Megan. Next episode will be on Tuesday. We will be chatting about it. I'm looking forward to it. Um, it was perfect timing the way I, Jamie, she got to see what the hate is, and I'm sure at some point she will discuss that. Um, she touched on it. Just can't even believe that it's just anything, everything. It's good to hear that those that are closest to her, excuse me, actually see and hear. And then, Megan's just like, whatever. I don't know anything about that. Somebody may come try to bring it to her, and she'd be like, yeah, no, that's all right. Protect that energy. That's the best little thing. Protect that energy because it gets to us. So you can only imagine if it was her on a daily basis. Yeah. Anyway, so Tuesday episode, is it 4? Episode 4. Why do I think it was, or episode 5? I'm so behind right now. Wait a minute. One, two. Let me go out and look at the site because then that'll help me. I think it's going to be episode 5 if I can get this to move, and we'll come over here and we'll go here. I know y'all going to put it in the chat, but I'm not looking at the chat right now. So forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. And then again, if you go to limonadamedia.com, you cannot miss Megan because they have her up on the front page. And so, yeah, it will be episode 5 will be released on Tuesday, and we'll have Talk Tuesday, and we'll get to chat it out and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. As ever, season 2. It's not even as ever. As ever products, we're waiting on the second round, so to speak, to be released. And I need y'all to chill out. If y'all already got some product, do not snatch them all up from us that did not. Okay. With love, Megan, season 2 will be coming in the fall. So just get ready, y'all. Just get ready. Okay. Squatty Corner, let me come in here. I know there's some love that's been dropped. I need to behave myself. Okay. I get back on track. I did say thank you to Church and Life for 37 months of membership. Black Queen for 30 months of membership. Let me come on down in here. Um, Thank you to Dan, my opinion, for the love that you have dropped on me. I so appreciate it. Um, Let me come down. I thought I had someone else, but it's not over here, and I hope I didn't clear it out. Oh, there it is, Black Queen. Um, Thank you for the love that you've dropped on me. For the two of you who have dropped love on me, let me just check over here on my phone so I don't miss if it was something over here dropped on me. No. Okay, cool. We're good. Um, To the two of you, thank you. May the love that you've dropped on me be returned unto you 1,000,000,000 times over. Let me get to my spot. Hit the right one this time. Here we go.
You're making it rain, 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 rain down on me.
Thank you both so much. There was so many comments I have starred in between. There was no way I was going to be able to do the back and forth throughout the whole thing. So it's only a few seconds. But thank you to you both. I so appreciate it. Let me take that off. Let me take this off here. Thank you for the membership throughout. Oh my goodness. Look at y'all. Um, Let me see. I read Cookies and Cream, but again, thank you for 37 months of membership. Joan, thank you for 31 months of membership. You said, VS, can you believe I've been hanging out with you this long? Love your singing too. You're one of the ones. You're rare, Joan. You're very rare. that like that love my singing. Um, but thank you so very much. No, I can't believe the long time. I can't even believe I've been monetized that long, but that some of y'all were right from the beginning have been there. So I'm very appreciative of the support. That is for sure. And Kathy G, thank you for 22 months of membership. And hey to you. You're saying hey BS. So hey to you. And thank y'all. Just thank y'all. Continue to share me out. I'm still trying to work towards my 10K subs. That's the next milestone from there. It just would be golden. I'll just say this. It just seems right to say that should I transition anytime, because one day I will, that y'all will just come out and every so often listen to a podcast or two, hear the craziness that goes on, get a good laugh, that type of thing, to hear my voice. It's like my 4,000, emails that you back to you all. Okay? All right. Let me stop. Get over here before I start getting emotional and acting cray cray. Pre-trash time. Whew, Lord of mercy. So there's a couple of comments from squatties that I took the names off the comments, but um, yeah, that were important to say. So the squatty, his threat level isn't assessed. That's the point of his lawsuit. He isn't perceived as high risk and only gets security when the royal family invites him to the UK, and they don't. He hasn't had a risk assessment since 2019. So that was a squatty making a point. And then the other, wow, he laid it all out on the line. It says a lot that Charles seems incapable of separating family from firm, unlike Hughie, too. No matter Andrew's flaws, she never forgot she was a mother. Nor can he accept the fact that the firm is not the life his son chose for himself and his family. Anything, everything above the firm. Andrew's just there because does he have any transferable skills? Nope. Only and it ain't even transferable. Only thing that he had was a title of being the queen's son. And without her around, you know, yeah, he's holding on himself and all his shenanigans. I hope Virginia G is there the day that note transitions and kicks his behind forever and ever in the afterlife, and everybody else that comes in behind her. Okay. Um. I see your IG comment, sis. Yes, I hope you heard me yell out to you, sis Hilda. Let me see. I'm gonna jump into comments. It's not too many, but I'm gonna jump back into the comments really quickly. Let me find my spot that I was at, and I had. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna come down from Miss September. Um, Now that I know where to go, and I'm just gonna come down in the comments and just look and see. Let's see. Wendy sees Wendy L. You can love a person and still protect yourself. Hate helps no one. Yeah, that's true. And yeah, family dynamics are very um dynamic. There you go. That's the only way I can put it. Rosalind, you're never late. Let me see. Lorna says, R. Smith, I saw the BBC interview, which was the whole thing. Many people aren't going to watch. I know we have the BBC over here. Yeah, it's just a matter of that channel also, or that station media outlet also has no leg to stand on either when it comes to me, in my opinion, being that one of the correspondents that was part of the BBC that put out that very racist tweet in referral to referencing Archie, the birth of a royal child when Archie was the only one born at the time, and they fired him and then hired him back. Yeah, BBC can go twirl somewhere, as far as I'm concerned. So they he sat down with them. It is a government run. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Um, BBC also had some sort of interview with absent lady too, but we're gonna leave that alone. Moving on. Okay. Janice says Harry is warning them that this is I guess this ain't over. Just how you have it. And it's true. He's just letting them know I'm not going anywhere. Check as my think you want me to be, but let me see. Wendy L. Wendy, you were right, but not when your family wants you unalive. Well, again, it's to keep the enemies and to keep the spotlight on them. That way, nobody ever lose track of if something should happen. We don't stop asking those questions. That family should even realize that if they back off now and just let things go, because, yeah, something happens. The questions that will be raised, child, please. And it won't be from their media controlling it. The global media will be asking those questions. I don't think they really want all those eyes on them. But, hey, maybe they are voyeurists and they're into that. Marshall says Harry may be down. I think I read this, but ain't out. Trust and believe it's not over. Yeah, I did. Like a soldier, he'll retreat to fight another day. And baby, nothing better happened to his family. That man will torch that mother down. It was worth reading again. Yes, I'm gonna start because I probably have that one as one of the last comments. Let's see. Tier. Glad Harry stood up to them about Meghan's security at the time. Yes, they would have said Harry did not request security. They would have. They would have. They would have. Let me come on down. Let's see. What time is it? Ooh, I'm like way behind in these comments. Church Nelly says, I already knew this. I said Harry and Meghan should give up all the titles and Harry should remove himself from the line of succession, completely separate themselves from the unroyals. And that will still not stop their devious, hateful asses. It won't. It really won't. No matter what, It it just won't stop till they have a D2 situation, and then they'll sit and cry and opine about, oh, if only he had made amends, if only he had done this, if only he had done that. They'll flip it back onto Harry being it's his fault that this happened. Let me mute. I got a cough.
It's your favorite time. Trash time. Trash time. Trash time.
y'all hear me now? Oh, there we go. Oh, Lord. Can you hear me now? I don't know. How much did y'all not hear? I've been talking all this time and didn't realize. And now I'm just seeing the comments that there's no sound. Hopefully it's been corrected. Y'all been going on. Okay. I'm not sure what happened. That's very weird. Maybe I didn't hit. So, what was it the last that you even heard me talking about? I've been going on and on. My silly self just didn't see the comments until now. That there was no sound. Um, Hopefully you heard trash time. Did you hear the sounder for that? Because maybe this thing is not taking it off mute like it normally does. Um, no, silly me now knows there was no sound. Marshall says I have to screenshot my jokes and comments to use later because there's no sound. Oh my God. Yeah, everybody will have to. At least the last 15 minutes. Oh, okay. So right before trash time. Oh Lord. So y'all missed me going off on them? Hmm. Maybe it was meant to be. Oh, trash time, trash time, trash time. What did I say? Oh, I talked about these effers' faces melting off. Um, and that it's disgusting what was said by the blonde. Their names, the two women that are pictured, their names are shown, and most of y'all know who they are. But the one in the blonde hair, yeah, her face hopefully will melt off faster. What did I say here? Oh, yeah, that any agreement, anything that you see regarding an agreement that was just broken by Harry and Meghan, the agreement was broken by the royal family 3 months after 3 months after they made that agreement with them, did not give the stipend they were supposed to, remove the security from even Harry, which is the problem, and because and then disclose their location. So the agreement was broken by them, the royal family. Ain't nothing to be said about Queen, who will be dead 3 years and wasn't really running things at that time anyway. This is my quick synopsis. So, Meghan using her title, which was the picture that I showed, of personal friend getting a gift versus commercial products being made. Nothing on as ever has has the HRH on it, although there are some family members that have used the HRH for personal as well as commercial use, but um, some don't know what personalized stationery is because the note that was on the picture that I showed with the topping and the ice cream that was given to Jamie, and she had that for years. So all of y'all get off your high horses that are so upset over this. Oh my gosh. Anyway, this one I was just saying that, some claim to be squatties. This starts out as if, but to say that he was indulged by his mother. Don't come for Diana. She was taken from him when he was 12. I'm not sure how much indulging she did. If you read his book Spare, you would know. Okay. Um, but he is self-destructive. No. Don't put that narrative, and you showed right there that you ain't no squatty to even say that out your mouth. And keyboard mouth, same difference. The recap on this is that this idiot saying that he's perceived as high risk. So if Harry is perceived as high risk, the appropriate security resources would be deployed. He should be seen as high risk when in his statement he states even Al Qaeda is coming for him because of his tours in Afghanistan. And that was the reason they yanked him out early, because of those threats. So please stop with the bullshit when you say that he doesn't have a high risk. He does. He's the son of your flipping king. which put him at birth, even in the line of succession, that put him at risk. Because one day he would be, Charles would ascend, and he did, and his head is still too far up somebody else's cooch to even understand, but nevertheless. But this person here says, he burnt all and published a book. He hasn't burnt bridges, only those, ones over there that just want to control how the narrative is stated, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that Charles released his own book saying he didn't feel that he was loved. And we know that his father, Philip, was rough on him. And I said he was trying to keep and get Charles back on the straight and narrow path that men at that time were to follow. If you catch it, you catch it. All right. And then this one was just a funny one for me that, the absent lady is strategically honoring Di by addressing her daughter, who is a child, as someone in her 20s or 30s. I don't know about how strategic that is, but okay. hmm hmm Uh, a woman that used her back to get what she wants really probably shouldn't even have them kids, especially a daughter, and be trying to teach and honoring anybody. Nevertheless, because Di's character and morals a little bit higher than that. Okay, that's my recap of trash time, so y'all don't feel deprived. All right. Woo! That was the Crypt Notes. I did it in lickety split time. There you go. Um, yeah, if you missed pre-trash, hey, it just is what it is. But I got into, and y'all understand that's what I covered. Marsha says, go back to my second comment to now. The sound has been off. I don't know which one is your second. I wish I could sort by names because then it would be easier to see stuff. But yeah, no. Let me go on here. Annie B says, I don't know what you've been saying, but this shit was funny. No trash to talk about. Hey, I made it interesting. Oh, I can only imagine some of the comments on the replay. Oh, I couldn't hear. Just sit through it. I gave you a recap that I hope you all enjoyed. All right. Joan says, why are we surprised that those people never tell the truth? I'm not surprised. It's just they seem to be surprised that we call them out on their shit. I don't know. That's the part that gets me. Why are they surprised? We see through your bullshit. I don't know why anybody else doesn't. Or nobody calls you out for it. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Antoinette is saying that's why Harry did the letter after the interview. So whatever is missing is now stated publicly. And yeah, in his letter. Oh, child, use. Um, the black girl's life, no sound since I said comment about family dynamics. Ah, okay. I must have hit this. I think my hand did hit the little the USB. Uh, Grace, the Queen is dead. Long live Her Royal Highness Princess Henry of Wiltshire. And a lot of them don't realize, yeah, they don't realize stripping titles. Okay, they will be trillionaires. Thank you. Moving on. They don't have to worry about any of that bullshit. And it really, now see, this is the thing. I don't know if many of you will agree with me. The media will not want that because then they truly are their money train will be cut all the way off. Because what are you going to talk about now that they're not royal? You always use that as your tie in. And Harry and them did offer to give up all of that, and they refused, just like the royal family refused the half in, half out. They can't complain about nothing that they do now. They need to just shut the F up. Okay. Um, Sean is saying, thank God other countries decide to ignore all the palace minions' requests to not give them security while on their soil. Yes. And none of them don't want. I mean, you think about how France was affected somewhat with all that went down with Diana, because a lot of people are like, what the hell? Well, one of the world's most known women, all the ish that just went on with their divorce, and here she is, of course, without the royal protection she should have had, but um, all of that happened. Yeah, don't you can't tell me that France, i.e., Paris, did not take a hit on, um, people coming over there and spending money. As if I had it to even want to go over there to see, yeah, that's just kind of creepiness. Just to know what went down over there, Benjamin, and for that home that was gifted to them and didn't have to. It. Thank you, Benjamin P. Thank you. Exactly. The Queen gifted them a home to be their base, and I don't even think she was in the ground, and they took that right from them. Mm. Okay, let me finish reading the rest. And didn't have to. I don't think they were refunded. No, they weren't. They did that in good faith. 2.5 mil or pounds is a lot, even if you have it. The royal family grifted off of them in deal. Oh, yes. Yet all the trolls and derangers call Harry, more so Meghan, grifter. She came into that family with millions in the bank. She wasn't grifting. Number one, Harry pursued her. Already, that's a difference from the one that will one day be the con. You start out conning, you're always a con. Even the current one is that, a con. Mhm. And writing some papers and making it seem like um, she's all this and that, and they have this love and all, whatever. They were adulterers, and now they're married, and as much as they try to rewrite history, they'll always be known as that. Okay. Marshall says, you know what? I'm not worried about Chuck and Willie. I believe Nostradamus' prediction will come true. Harry's already king, and he'll actually sit on the throne. We don't want that, but God has a plan. Sure. Let me take another sip of tea. You were saying I think it stopped at trash time before trash time. Oh, so then you missed just well. Good thing I didn't share anything with Baby the Ranger because I get a kick out of reading Baby the Ranger. I'm not. I gave you all the trash time again with some additional wording that I didn't say the first time around. There you go. Okay, so y'all have not. Let me see internet, but we saw all the pictures. Yeah, you can only imagine. I might have to come up with some way that y'all can read. Well, yeah, because if I'm not looking at my phone, I won't hear the messages either or see messages. Lydia, bless your soul. You had messaged me to tell me. That's sweet. Not that I see it when I should have, but hey. But thank you for all the comments in there. Okay. Benjamin P. Refurbishment of England ever paid out of their own pocket for refurbishment. Oh, another standard for Harry and Meghan, right? I mean, the heir and absent lady refurbished their driveway for what, 1.5 million pounds? Wasn't that what it was? Yeah. And nobody was screaming over that. A driveway. And now they don't even live at Kensington Palace. They don't even live there now. Mm-mm. All right. Marshar is Let me see. Marshall said, Mrs. VS, I was having trash time in the comments, making folks laugh, but I love making you laugh. Yeah. I can only imagine. Angela S says, Antoinette, I hope you had a wonderful birthday earlier this month, and I hope so too. Hold on. Sorry, I'm back. I muted and took it off mute. My husband came back in. I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, Paul C says Charles and William will regret taking Harry and Meghan's security away. Yeah, because when it happens to them with security, folks better shut the F up. As it's always stated, not that you want anything, but it's the karma that they're bringing to themselves. Okay, it's the karma they're bringing to themselves. Sean, they were trying to break them financially by having them repay for the refurbishing. Yes. Again, Meghan came into the marriage with millions. I'm glad she has rebooted some of the things that she was doing prior to meeting Harry, who pursued her. I'm always going to make sure I make that clear because people like to call them grifters. There's nothing in anything they have done that shows that they're grifting. Nothing. They weren't even grifting when they were working royals because the current king wasn't even doing his part in taking care of them. Mm. But, the one that sits over a church doesn't even read the Bible that does pertain to him to some degree, to even understand. What does it say about entering into heaven for a rich man? hmm We better go on. You done went so far up the con that you can't even, you know what I mean, think straight. And that was way back. Let me come on here. Um, uh, Here's Grace. Grace is doing a PSA. You know, thank goodness I didn't see this while I was muted. Grace says, "What's up, everybody? Welcome to the What Did You Expect from Fake Royals episode of Sussex Saturday. And here's your host, the speaker of truth, VS Speaks Royally. Holla! When you can hear me, you know that I'm speaking. All right, let me carry on. Thank you for that, Grace. Benjamin is saying, Carr, when has that family ever paid for any refurbishment out of their own pockets? Near, not that I know of. It comes out of the taxpayer pool, which is what. Now, number one, this is the one thing that we should also preference when we're referring to that house, that it wasn't a house, it was a dilapidated building that was um, 5 quarters, 5 living quarters, that was then converted by Harry and Meghan into one home. And it had sat, and as I said, it was dilapidated. So it was in such a state that it was coming up for refurbishment anyway. And I think they have to take care of the properties. Isn't the royal family responsible for taking care of the properties? And so it would not have been, of course, brought up to the standard that I know that Harry and Meghan, especially knowing Meghan's aesthetic. But and then they want to do laps about them taking it away, and I guess trying to move Andrew there in order to take Royal Lodge so that the heir can live there, or maybe the absent lady. When y'all ain't together, so what does it matter? Just live in your separate residences and keep it pushing. Excuse me, make it look good for the again, putting on a picture of the quote perfect family when it's just the opposite. Complete and utter chaos behind those golden gates. Keep that shit to yourselves. Paul Charles, I think it's time for Harry to do that the 400 pages off on the second book. Oh, child, I said that I think last Saturday and probably before that. Yes, it's time to come on. It's time to come on. Look at Joan talking about I sign up for the waiting list immediately. All of us would. Click. You let. And Megan even spoke on, the possibilities of another book. We know she is a celebrated author. Okay. And she mentioned about a memoir. I love how she said she does not think, I believe she said, paraphrasing, like she's at that age or stage in life to write one. But baby, and they trying to keep her from. I I do believe, them emails. She's smart. She knows. Should something happen to me because of them, you will know that you were loved. You know what Harry would cherish to have something like that from Diana. Child, please. People better get off their craziness trying to imply something that just makes them look horrible, to be that upset over her talking about what she does to ensure that her children have childhood memories that just extend beyond pictures. Okay, anyway. Benjamin says, Sean, I agree in principle. However, nobody asked them to do it. Harry and Meghan did that gesture in good faith, thinking they would play fair. However, it turned out very different. Right. The narrative got flipped around, as with everything they do. It was always a number pushed out there, um, with them specifically, never about the others and the amount of money they would get each year to zhuzh up their palaces. Never, 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 never. Uh-oh. I guess I missed something. Antoinette's like, Miss Popcorn get lost. Ooh, okay. I'm glad I missed some of that. Don't know. I know. I'll chuckle a little bit. Divine always tells folks in the other hallway that I'm in, you go over there, you better wipe your feet at the door and watch yourselves, because they do not play over here. Okay, and I love it. I'm gathering it was handled. I know I would see the comments still over here, but it just is in StreamYard. The content creator can still see comments, even if people have gotten zapped out. But oh well, moving on to the next comment. Um, Paul is saying Harry and Meghan should give back the Sussex's name and their HRH and cut ties with that family for good. It will still not change anything. Not change anything. Again, if they could, now the last name is just part of how he was styled upon marriage. That was an official announcement made. They will be known as his and her Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. That was released by Buckingham. So, a parliamentary, if somebody in Parliament wants to, put forth the whatever y'all call it over there. Here in the U.S., we would say a bill. Somebody, a member of Congress, puts forth a bill that states that we want to remove the titles and da 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 da. And then I hope it affects everybody and they just abolish the whole monarchy. Ooh, wouldn't that be something? Harry and Meghan will be okay. Them other ones will not. Without that annual purse coming to them, they would not. And that only happened because of that fire at Windsor. And then people realize, oh, y'all don't pay taxes? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. But it's just a siphon, in my opinion. Oh, yeah, we pay taxes, but that bucket comes right on back to us. The shell game. All right. Anyway. Whew. Jones says, Sean, but a famous saying applies. You didn't make me, so you can't break me. Ciao. Boom. Say it again. Boom. There we go. Mm. Ooh, Lord. Some comments I will skip. I'm reading some of them, and I'm like, yeah, we're not going to read that out loud right there. Let me see. Benjamin is saying, is it core or car? Thinking royals can play fair. That was disrespectful to the Queen's wishes, Joe. And it showed they didn't give a F about the Queen. We saw that immediately. As soon as it was announced she had died, they changed their titles and styles and everything. Well, they had to wait for Chuck to officially give the styling and all that, but their social medias were updated immediately. Little creepy, but grifters do grifting things. Okay. Just my opinion on that. Grace, it's one thing to think that your family is diabolical, but to hear it in court, wow. Yeah, to read it and hear it. Long ago, Harry did an interview and he said regarding Diana, he knew the players that were, the ones over there chasing the vehicle. Mhm. That was laid out in the reports that have since, I guess, are under lock and key, so to speak. Mhm. Angela is saying hello, everyone in the chat. If I missed anyone, hello. I'm sorry. Charles never treated Harry with kindness and love since Harry was born. He left to play polo. Yeah, a few hours after, I think once Diana went home, and then he went claiming he would years later like he would want a daughter. Why? Then again, there might be a reason why, and you even hate to think what daughters might be subjected to. Because I heard Anne was a trip back in her day, younger days. It's a lot that goes on in the Maristo circles. Honey Bomber says it had to be Meghan for Harry. It was destined before they were born. Yes. And her husband is a fox. The way she said that made me laugh. She was like, if you haven't noted, my husband is a fox. I was like, go ahead on Meghan. Be proud of that man. And the look on her face was telling her gaga for him. Yeah. So people try, and then I've said this so many times, the more that folks try to pull them apart or the divorce word throws out at them, it goes against everybody that then is helping to spread that. Yeah. Mm. Carmen says, take the titles and watch them continue to skyrocket leagues above Charles and William UK wealth. Yes. Most of us are like, take it. Take the titles. Them titles aren't really holding them back. They're both doing great. Sadly, he's seeing truly the enemy from within when it comes down to the charities. Like if the grown men that they're supposed to be based on their ages, one is like closer to um, seeing his mum and pa again, needs to get their lives all the way together, running around trying to undo and worse, so that they can then get the sympathy of the world. Energy vampires. Let me come on down here. Benjamin's saying the only way I can conceivably see Harry on throne is if he sat there to honorably dismantle it and hand it back to the government, y'all. I could see that. I could see that. Raquel, how are you? I rarely comment, but love VS podcast and reading the comments because they are hilarious. And I'm sure there's ones I have missed. It might be with good reason. And I know, Marshall, because you will take me out. And I see one coming up now that starts out with Kitty Puss. So I already know I'm in trouble. I'm going to laugh, but I'm going to read this one first. Tier says Meghan innocently walked into a lion's den but made it out alive before she was devoured. Yes. And in the Bible, there is a story very similar to that, is it not? What some seek to destroy the hand of God, so to speak, the universe adds the protection, and I like to call it the lady in black. hmm And when karma is due, it comes right on back at you 1,000 times over. Okay. Marshall says Kitty Puss dressing like a man. Oh, did I see? Did you had the other one like this? Oh gosh. Okay. Kitty Puss dressing like a man is up Willie's alley, but he no longer wants her, even if she had a foot long peg. Now you done changed it to foot long. Okay. You see, you said 6 inches before. I know. I remember that comment. Peg in her teeth. Marshall said, it is not enough that you showed a comment and we might not have heard it. I need you to say it and say it this way. And I'm gonna drop it back down. As I always say, if there's a comment that you want me to read, hopefully I see it as I'm scrolling through the remainder of this podcast, which is just about 2 hours. My God, we haven't gone 2 hours in so long. A long time. Long, long time. Okay. Gwen says Marshall, absolutely agree. See, you want to be bad. Angela says the dark forces went to see the Pope. Jesus. Chuck, Camilla, and J.D. Vance. Then the post passed away. Gee, Willikers. Oh, the Pope, you mean, passed away. Yeah. Remember the handshake that the Queen had with the then newly installed Prime Minister. Ugh. Okay. Here she comes, Marshall. Kitty Puss, dressing like a man, was trying to look like Megan. May make Willie want her wide peg. Jesus. She's like, I'm going to make sure you read all the ones that you missed. Okay. Wendy is saying, cancel Invictus. Yes. Hashtag cancel Invictus UK. Do you think that he was trying to get this done so he can bring his family there? Oh, I believe so. But he also wants things on the record. You can prepare and have so much security as you want, and things still happen, like we saw in New York. And then they were like, "Oh, we will not let this happen on." Oh no! So wherever they go, they have the level of security that they need. Angela, yeah, I got what you meant because you reposted. Antoinette, because Harry will have them locked out of anything he and Meghan does, like IG. Yeah, they still should be. F the directors that voted to bring it over there. I can't see Harry wanting it there, but nevertheless, that's a decision that will come up and who knows what could happen. It's what you figure 2 years out from less than that, just a little less than that before the games. So, Antoinette, Chucky announced cancer. Harry went to see him. He gave him 30 minutes. Guess what? Middle finger up. And you remember it was this big to do. Remember the um only reason that the media knew was because of the motorcade that was provided to him because he was going in. But Harry was there twofold. And that was his middle finger up to them. Like, thanks for the protection to go see that idiot. But I'm really here to take care of this case, see the Spencers, and, do everything else. Because they wanted him to stay. No, you're not going to know where I'm staying when I'm over there. Bravo. Because you know that, oh my gosh, how could that happen moment? hmm When those that, because you figure the Met Police, would you really trust them when there were members of the Met Police on the details that are supposed to protect the VIPs said such disgusting things about Meghan, racist things? People want to say that that country ain't racist. You better get your life and understand the history of the UK, okay? Even under the so-called watch and reign of the Queen, when we know it, they're only there to make things look good, uphold the white supremacy, as Tina and Michelle would say. Okay. Tier says Charles wanted them out of Frogmore Cottage, period, using his mm, pedo brother was just a diversion. Yeah. Maybe he had another. Well, let me stop. And just as I look up at the channel, because I had changed it, CNN, here comes bombshell interview. Prince Harry struggling to forgive security removal. They do have the, um, she's a historian. She has long red hair. They don't have her name up there, but I know her face when I see her. And she's somewhat on the trustworthy side versus the others that they usually have up there on those channels. Anyway, putting my attention back here. Anyway, Antoinette says, after paying for Frogmore Cottage, the best revenge is to make more money. Money, 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 money. Yes. and they have done that. And the royal family can get no tidbits of anything. Oh, that's her name, Kate Williams, a royal historian. That's who. I just know her when I see her. Let me see. Marshall said in his interview, I heard shots fired from Harry when he said he knows the names of the folks stopping their security, and it was unforgivable. They want harm on his family. His look sent chills. Listen, he had said that before. Didn't he sit down with ITV? Said pretty much the same thing. Just silent alert. Mm-mm-mm. Nafisa, hello to you. Peace and blessings to everyone. Diana was stripped of her HRH and Wales title, and she was still chased to death. She was also stripped of her security. Yep. Everything they want to happen now to the Sussexes. F them. And that karma's coming back, and I hope it slaps them all up in the face. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion. Paul says Harry and Meghan house in Montecito is better than all the residents of the royal family use. And that makes them even madder. That makes them even madder. Mm, 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 mm. And it makes the squatty smile because we're like, you think he's going to give up? Now, I had to laugh a little bit of the statement that, that he loves his country. But when he was asked in that interview, what was it that he loved about the UK? And he could only come out with the sky. Now we understand why he had trouble even getting an answer together for that because it's hard to even say the family because you can't because they're trying to destroy me in every way possible. Taking his wife and children is a destruction of him. And I loved how he said his immediate family. If you don't understand that, you don't understand. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to scroll through some of this. Hi, Patricia Ann. How are you? I'm going to read these last few. It's been over 2 hours. Aren't y'all tired of me already? Even though I had like a half hour where y'all couldn't probably hear me, but I gave you all a little recap. All right, here we go. Rhonda, when Meghan said he was a fox, she could have made a Campbell soup commercial. Good. That is the exact look. She had that. He is scrumptious. I'm surprised she didn't follow. If she had to follow with How You Like Me Now, I would have priceless. Yes, that was the look. Good. Tier, cookies and cream. It's time. He's in shock right now, but I think he'll eventually. And excuse if you hear any background noise. My apologies if you do. Marshar, Joan, yep, all of that inbreeding in that family is what's causing that madness. Proof one shouldn't marry. I'm mad with Marshall right now. Have sex with and create babies with your first cousin. God dog it. You would think Chucky Chuck, like his siblings, have maintained and always have been pretty much quiet. Anne and Eddie, and Andrew. And Chuck knowing how out of which you were created. Mhm. You need to be a very humble person. At least it looks kind of corrected themselves as more children were born. I'm just going to leave it like that. That first one that got all the disgusting heritage poured into it. And that's why he looks the way he does. All right. I need to get off here because I'm about ready to drag him again. And I did this. Okay. Um, Let me see. When S says Harry moved himself from having anything to do with who goes to with who goes to the 2027 IG, I guess as far as where it was. Yeah, the board made that decision. Um, but with all things, he could always zoom in. That's just not him, and it really would hurt him too. But if he comes in and goes, hey, that's just the way it is, and it should be noted. His security is not what it needs to be. I'm sure if there's visiting royals in place, that security will be very high. But whoop, here's another one. Wendy S. Hashtag cancel Invictus 27. Um, how about piss them off and have it in Nigeria? You know they want Meghan home. Cheer and the security. We saw the security the first trip that they went in. Mhm. Jonas Marshall, you are preaching today. Sure. I think just from the mic being, me being muted for the time that I was, Marshall's like, okay, I'm gonna repost what I said. I'm gonna repost it in different ways. I'm gonna do this and that. You're gonna know how I'm feeling. She's got to get that drag, that spirit, the messy spirit, as we call it in the other hallway. Trash time is the messy spirit for all of us. Sometimes it gets a lot messier than others. Woo! And I am not editing that out because then the chat will get lost if I edit out the dead air. So y'all, if you're listening replay and you've gotten to this point, obviously you know that the sound is back. It comes back, don't worry. Maybe I'll put a comment that says time, there is time when I'm muted, but you just hang in there, listen in, and I appreciate all of y'all for hanging in there with me. Okay. Let me see. Benjamin says, who agrees with me on Anne being only one who could have talked sense into Charles to give Harry security? That's if she really wanted to. Anne still has influence, but she selectively uses it, child. The same Anne that had some strange incident on horse. Wasn't it on a horse or near a horse? When she's been on horses, no pun intended, all her life. That situation seemed very unalive-ish type thing. Yes, I made up a word, but it just seemed that way because allegedly she was trying to tell him to give the house to. Didn't she influence him to evict them, as their paper said, as well as then trying to give it to Andrew? So, what kind of influence does Anne have? I don't think she has as much as folks believe she does. And let's hope if you watch the Game of Thrones, now I'm gonna say this and I'm probably gonna need to get off of here because y'all probably know where I'm going. Cersei and her brother. Okay. Yeah, let me get on off of here. Let me get off of here. I'm gonna read this one. Marshar, God love you, Marshar. Marshall says, Mrs. VS, do you believe? And she went to the old Mrs. VS. Do you believe Lizzie tried to get rid of Meg too? No, I think when we say get rid of, let me not in the full throes of like die. No, um, potentially breaking them up from dating, maybe. I mean, although the Lifetime movie makes it all appear that she was so gun ho, she did give her approval to Harry. So there's a part of me, she refused to even speak to that one that is the current consort for a decade at least. And no telling what Charles, and I think that's Charles' retribution for the time that he couldn't marry that heifer after Di passed. But let me whew, let me pull it back. Let me pull it back. So it could have been when they first were dating, only from the standpoint, oh, an American. But she met Meghan in a very non-formal setting because it was lunch at, Royal Lodge. Megan didn't know about it, and it just so happened she was going there after church service, the Queen. And that's when Megan went through the whole thing during the Netflix series. She explains that whole learning how to curtsy on the fly in a car as you're being driven to the location where she's at. And then I'll give Fergie that much credit working with her before the Queen got there to really get the curtsy down pat. And then when she did it, they were like, "Bravo, you did good." Okay. So there could have been a time, but I really believe that no, it wasn't. Any getting rid of is all uh, the current heir and his father, the current king. And that's my opinion. Because Absent Lady really doesn't have a voice. Absent Lady. Paul says Charles and William making the royal family look horrible in front of the world and the world leaders. They think they looked very statesman-like. They always have to say states. He looks like a statesman when they're talking about Willie Will out there because they know he's not one. You wouldn't have to say it if he really is. Oh, okay. Trying to plant the seed. Oh, look at him. He's a statesman. No, he's a frail Peggington. Okay, I said it. Let me go on to Karen. This is wickedness. Sean says Lizzie liked Megan, even like Diana. I think Charles and that evil minion of staff are the really dangerous one. Yes. Hmm. Marshar in all caps. I love to drag kitty puss. I do hope that you have gotten your um, fill for the week or release, I should say, for the week. I do hope that you did. Let me see. Benjamin said, I don't believe Anne said that. I think she ignored it all. That was cover for Camilla. Listen, she had her own security situation. Even when they have protection, do they really have protection? Because that incident that happened on the Long Mile, should have never happened, especially to a child of the monarch. But we see, risk assessment. hmm Something was going on. I don't know who. Is that to get her on the straight and narrow again? I do. You. Internet VS. It should have been the OJ song. Oh, money, 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 money. Okay. hmm Won't they put knives in your back? Okay. Okay. Go listen to that song if y'all don't know what Antoinette was referring to. I wish I knew French. I do not. Let me let me see if I can copy this comment. I can't from this side, and I'll never find it on the YouTube side. Maybe someone can translate for me. I I am not multilingual. Okay. Unless you're talking cusses. Tier, not one of them in that family would ever speak up for Megan. And don't forget, she's a woman of color, right? And that is just that right there is, the thing they can't take. All right, scrolling through. Okay, I have to make up in one aspect. Don't y'all? The rest of y'all get mad, Marshall, because yeah, she's while she's typing and I missed it and all that other stuff because I scrolled past all the ones with no sound. Okay. Whew. All right. Marsha says, I agree, Mrs. VS. I believe Lizzie loved Meg and even Chuck liked her in the beginning because she was intelligent. Crumilla got in his ass for that. Yeah. She probably, well, and I'll say that literally and figuratively, she probably got in that ass. Yeah. Or didn't get on her knees, one of the two. Okay. I'm dragging along with you and I need to behave myself. Hold on. Let me call. Okay. Patricia Ann is saying, please, people in the Commonwealth, get rid of the Charlie. The man is a racist. They hate Meghan with a passion. It's slowly but surely coming to fruition. It's slowly but surely coming to fruition. Benjamin is saying William is going to get dragged. I like how you emphasize that. When he's fully installed as king, let's watch and see. Oh, he will be in his glory wearing his gowns and crown. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting ready to end because I I think I've reached the bottom of the comment and I'm about to cut all the way up. I can feel it. All right, Marsha, Mrs. VS, I always have draggings for kitty puss. It's bottomless. Like she is. Okay, boom. Benjamin says, Marsha, I believe Charles had a mini crush on Megan for a bit there. Ew. You LOL, but ew. Ew. That's worse than, you know, hearing that Sway Sway had on her character on, anyway, on Suits. Lydia! Um, let me see, you're saying his royalty will make all those things who are against him disappear in what? Oh, thank you for translation, Lydia. Thank you. Thank you so very much. See, I love y'all squatties, y'all look out for me. Let me see. Antoinette saying, I believe the board uh was bribed like the rest of them. Chucky got in the ear. Oh, bought me or bribed. Okay, I got you. Chucky got in the ear and everything changed. More Invictus or cancel. Oh, move Invictus or cancel. Well, I have a feeling that it might be the latter that comes about, and rightly so, because to move it now to another country that may not be prepared, and I wouldn't care what happens over there in Birmingham. I mean, just plain and simple, y'all don't give two shits what happens to Harry. Should he come over there? And they would know a little bit more about where he is and his movements, and that makes me unsettled for him. At least when he comes in to handle business, they have no knowledge of it because Rav is not doing their assessments. They just don't give a shit. Okay, so since they don't give a shit, well, they don't need to know. In Vitkus, unfortunately, they would have some idea. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. And I'm going to, because just out of this one took me completely out when I first read it. So I'm going to leave this up as the last comment. I want to say I do apologize again for the temporary loss of sound, but I hope you did enjoy my little recap of trash time, at least that part of it, because that's your special time and you all enjoy that so much. So when this live stream ends, please leave a comment. Let me know how you felt on the recap of trash time. And yeah, again to all those, yes, sound went out for a little bit. But now that you've gotten to this point on replay, it's all good in the hood. All right. Please take care of yourselves. I love you all. Almost 2.5 hours. That hasn't happened in a long, long time. Long, long, long time. So I hope that you appreciate. Be sure to leave a comment even after the live stream ends, because I like reading the comments before the crazies start popping up all over the place. Anyway, please take care of yourselves. Love you all. I'm going to play the outro, which again, let me post it in the chat that I apologize. The sound on the outro may be just as loud as that of the intro, but I do hope that I at least got that part back. So, anyway, here we go with the outro. Love you all. Take care of yourselves. Be well, be safe, and see you all Tuesday when we have our Sussex Talk Tuesday. Take care, everybody. Bye.